There's been a lot of talk about Hollywood of late, particularly after that almost obscene halftime show at the Super Bowl. And then, of course, that parade of stars that speak almost insanely and perversely at the Oscars. Well, I can see why people might think that Hollywood is encroaching upon us, and indeed it is. And so there is heavy criticism from church leaders, preachers, and laymen within the church that's directed toward the entertainment world. However, I think we need to be honest. The problems of America are not primarily caused by those who sin in America. Sinners, like many of those in Hollywood, do what sinners do. By nature, they are sinners and they sin. Do you know what the real problem in America is? The church and the Christians within the church are not living by the nature that God gave them when they were born again. Isn't that a strange sort of predicament? The world is living like the world because that's what they do. But the church is not living like the church. But we point our finger at the world when they do what they do, but we really don't subject ourselves to the judgment of God in our own thinking. But I believe it was the Word of God that said that judgment must begin in the house of the Lord. Many preachers who pointed critical fingers at the halftime show of the Super Bowl still enjoyed watching the game. That was a part of the promotion. Preachers, many laymen, point fingers of accusation at the Academy Awards and talk about how bad those stars are for making statements such as they made that are anti-ethical and anti-what's good for America, and then, of course, actually anti-Christian. But after pointing those accusatory fingers, they will end up going to see R-rated movies which promote that industry. By the way, do you know why a movie is R-rated? You ought to check it out sometime because of frequent, strong language and nudity for sexual purposes, scenes with that in it, and for scenes with drug abuse. And yet many Christians who complain about those stars at the Academy Awards or at those performers at the halftime of the Super Bowl will pay their money to watch that in the local movie theater. Something is wrong, terribly wrong with the mindset of the believer. To judge those performers for doing what their nature calls them to do, but not excusing yourself from participation in the world. Even though the Lord said, love not the world, neither the things that are within the world. For if you love the world, the love of the Father is not in you. Maybe, just maybe, those Christians who so gladly and freely support such activities because they enjoy it, maybe, just not maybe, they aren't Christians after all. This is evangelist Harold Hunter. If you want to be aware of when I make these little vignettes and you find them interesting and maybe provocative for conversation, please be sure to look at the word subscribe at the bottom of your video. And if you haven't already subscribed, please do so right now. Thank you till I'm with you again. Bye now.